The record. Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's take a few moments just to get present. I'll find a nice, comfortable seated position where you can sit and have your back and your spine nice and tall and straight, opening up your diaphragm, opening up your lungs, and opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is Samadhi. It's the eighth and the final limb of the eight limbs of yoga. All the previous 7 limbs prepare the mind and the body for the 8th limb, which I consider the spiritual limb. The first 2 limbs, if you remember, are the yamas and the niyamas, which are guidelines for the mind. The 3rd and 4th, asanas, pranayamas, exercises for the body. Pratyahara and dharana, 5th and 6th, withdraw you from the external world and train you to focus. So it starts that journey inward. Dhyana, it's that meditation that brings you to that space of awareness within yourself. And then Samadhi is considered enlightenment. It's shining the light on your true self. It fills you with a joy and a peace beyond all understanding. Which reminds me of the phrase that comes from the Bible, Felicia, you're going to be able to say this. Chapter 4, verse 7, Philippians, I think. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, brings you to a oneness with all things around you. It liberates you from the ego, from attachments, from fear. They say it takes years, maybe a lifetime, to achieve Samadhi, or that it's only experienced by monks, or perhaps the Pope, the Dalai Lama, or even Eckhart Tolle. I think we can get glimpses of it ourselves, maybe through meditation or other experiences. Perhaps reading a book. So taking that example of reading a book, we'll start with the 5th limb of yoga, the pratyahara. And when you're reading it, you're kind of withdrawing from the external world, getting absorbed in the book. Then you get to a point where you're at the dharana, the 6th limb of yoga, where you're fully concentrated on the words and the story. the seventh limb, Dhyana. In that story, you are totally present. There's no past, no future. You're totally absorbed in that story. And then the eighth limb, sometimes you experience it reading a book, that Samadhi, that enlightenment, that something that you've read just resonates with you so deeply that it gives you a peace and a joy or something intangible that you carry with you throughout the rest of your life, that enlightenment. So for today's meditation, I'd like to have you experience that space of awareness that is present. By doing so, we'll do mantra and a mudra. The mudra is called Dhyana, which is the name for the meditation, but it's also called Samadhi, I've noticed. And it's something that you may have seen in statues of Buddha, where the left hand is below, the right hand sits on top of it, and the two thumbs come together. And you just gently place that on between your lap. And that helps to concentrate and get you in that space of awareness that is meditation. So that's the mudra. And then a mantra, on the inhale, if you would say so, and then on the exhale, hum, which means I am. So on the inhale, hum on the exhale, and then follow that with it on the next inhale with peace, and then on the last exhale, joy. So you're going to be doing inhale, I, exhale, M, so hum, inhale, peace, joy. So hum, peace, joy. So just take a few moments. You can say it out loud, or you can say it to yourself. And we'll just take a few moments to do the meditation, and I'll meet you on the mat. You may open your eyes now. We'll start our asana practice. So if you continue in your nice, comfortable seated position, bring your fingertips to your sides so that they're lightly touching the mat. Then we're going to do a seated sun breath, where if you like, you can try to do the count, either 4 or count to 6, so that we're creating an equal length breath, the Samadhi breath. So you can do this at your own pace. I'm going to count to myself. My count's 6. It may not be your count. But just try to synchronize your arm movement so that when you're at the end of your number count, you're at the top, and conversely, you're at the bottom at the end of your number count. So let's just begin and do this at our own pace. Samadhi breath. Inhale. And let's all meet with our fingertips back on the mat. We're going to do some twists. So we're going to inhale, bring our arms up, twist to the left, and bring our arms down. Inhale, bring our arms up, sweep over to the right, and then bring our arms down. Inhale, bring our arms up, sweep over to the left, and bring our arms down. I'm going to leave it to you to create a nice, gentle movement, coordinating it with your breath. Just create a nice, gentle flow of inhales, exhales, and movement. And then I'll meet you back in the middle. We're going to roll down on the mat. So if you're seated on a cushion, you may want to remove that and gently roll down one vertebrae at a time, or you can do express method. Hands tucked behind your knees and just roll down. Extend your feet to the bottom of the mat. And then we're going to bring one knee up, the right knee, bring it toward your chest and give it a nice gentle hug. Point both toes up, flexing the toes so they're pointing to the sky. And then release your right leg down to the mat and bring your left leg up. Give that a nice gentle hug to your chest, flexing your toes up to the sky. We'll do that a few more times. Again, coordinating it with your breath. So inhale, bringing the knee up. Giving it a hug, and exhale, releasing it back down to the mat. Inhale, bring your left leg up. Hug, and then release it back down to the mat. A few more. And then bring both feet down to the bottom of the mat. And then slide your soles of your feet so that they are now sitting on the mat. Your knees are pointing up to the sky. Legs are about hip width apart. Lower back's tucked down toward the mat, tucking your spine, your navel toward your spine. We're going to lift our right leg up and point our toes to the sky. You may want to wrap your hands around your right thigh. And then we're going to guide our foot down to a 1 o'clock position. You may want to just hold it with your right hand and release your left hand and support your body with the left hand. And I'm going to move it down to a 2 o'clock position. And then a 3 o'clock position, as far as you can go. If it's 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, that's fine. And then back up to 2. Big inhale and exhale, back up to 1. Big inhale and exhale, and back up to 12 o'clock. And bring your left hand back to your leg, and you're going to walk your both hands up your leg as far as you can go, perhaps all the way to your ankle, lifting your upper body off the mat. And then walk your hands back down your leg. And then bring your right foot back down onto the mat. We'll do that with our left leg. So send your left toes up into the sky, pointing to the sky. Wrapping your left hand around the back of your thigh. Just having your right hand there for support. And then move our left foot to the 11 o'clock position. Deep inhale, exhale. Bring it down to the 10 o'clock position. Big inhale and exhale. And then down as far as the 9 o'clock if you can. Big inhale and exhale. Back up to 10. Inhale, exhale. Back up to 11. Inhale, exhale. And back up to 12 o'clock. And then with both hands, we're going to walk our hands up our leg, maybe as far up as the ankle. And then walk our hands back down. Place your left foot back on the mat. And you can either roll over to your side. We're going to go up to tabletop, or if you like, you can tuck your hands behind your knees and roll up to a seated position. Cross your legs and then lean over your crossed legs and come into a tabletop position. Whichever way works best for you, bring yourself to tabletop. So with tabletop, our wrists are right below our shoulders. Fingers are splayed out Index fingers pointing up to the top of the mat. Knees are hip width apart. Navel's tucked to the spine, creating a nice, long, straight back. Your weight is evenly distributed between your hands and your knees. And we'll do some cat-cows here. So we're going to inhale, rounding our back, tucking our pelvis and head down. And then inhale, bringing our head up, gazing straight ahead, one of the dristis. Bringing our tailbone up. And exhale, rounding our back, bringing our head down. Inhale, lifting our head up, tailbone comes up, sending our gaze straight ahead. Exhale, rounding the back, tucking our tailbone down, head comes down. And continue at your own pace. And deeply synchronizing your movements with your breath. Remember, each pose has its own drishti. So cow, we're gazing straight ahead. With the cat, perhaps we're gazing to our navel. And then come back to a neutral back and bring your knees together underneath your hips. So the knees are touching. We're going to do our bird dog. So extend your right leg up and back. So that's at hip height. Your weight's evenly distributed in your front hands. And then lift your left hand up. So it's shoulder height. Toes are pointed for the inhale. Toes are flexed, pointing to the ground for exhale. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. 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 Inhale, point. And one last time, exhale, flex. Bring hand and knee back down. We'll do that on the other side. So knees are touching together to start. Lift your left leg up, hip height. Make your weight evenly distributed in your hands. And then lift your right arm up to shoulder height. Toes are pointed for the inhale. Flex for exhale. Point, inhale. Flex, 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 exhale, and bring both hand and knee down to the mat. And we're going to bring our hips down, sitting on our ankles. So we're in a kneeling position. If that's comfortable for you, to sit on your heels, you could do that. Or if you want to curl your toes under and sit on your heels, or if sitting on your feet's not comfortable, you can bring yourself upright so that you're on your knees, maybe having a towel underneath your knees for cushion. We'll go back to the kneeling. We're going to do some chest openers. So we're going to bring our hands around to the back of our hips, interlacing the fingers. On the inhale, extend your arms out, away from your hips. And then on the exhale, bring your fingers over to your right hip. Inhale, extend them out behind you. Exhale, bring them over to the left side, left hip. Inhale out. Exhale to the right. Inhale out. Exhale to the left. Inhale out. Exhale to the right. Inhale out. Exhale to the left. Inhale out. Exhale to the right. Inhale out. And one last time, exhale to the left. You remove your hands from behind your hips, bring them back to the mat. Now tuck your toes under if they're not already, and we're gonna walk our hands back, coming into a squat and pushing down to our toes to lift up into mountain pose. I don't know if you can see, but I have quite a bit of rainbows going on here this morning. I have a prism in the window. I always have it there, but this morning it's particularly shooting rainbows all over the place. So we're going to come so that our feet are hip width apart, toes are pointing to the edge, straight edge of the mat. We're going to lift our toes up off the mat, spread them as far apart as you can, then bring them down into the mat, lifting our heels up off the mat, and then bring our heels down, really feel connected to the mat, grounded to the earth. Mountain pose, our legs are nice and straight and strong, gentle bend in your knee, navel's tucked to the spine, shoulders are relaxed but rolled back, spine is nice and long and straight, crown of your head's reaching up to the sky. We're going to sweep our hands up overhead, big inhale and exhale, bending your knees deeply, bring our hands down to the mat, forward fold, and just check in with yourself. Feel any tension in your body. Send some gentle, nourishing breaths to that tension. See if it eases up. And then inhale, bringing your hands up to your shins, flattening out your back, sending your gaze down for half forward fold. Nice straight back. And then dropping the crown of your head down toward the mat. Stretching out that lower back. And then with gentle bend in your knees, sweeping your hands all the way up from the mat, up overhead. And sending your hands up to the sky, lifting yourself up onto your tippy toes for palm tree. And then swaying with your hands. Just create a nice, gentle sway in the breeze. Working on our balance here. And then bring your heels back down to the mat. Bring your hands back down to the mat, bending your knees gently and generously. Hands are on the mat. And inhale, bring your hands up to your shin, half forward fold, flat back, gaze is down. Crown of your head goes down. And then sweeping your hands from the mat all the way up overhead again. Bring your hands up overhead. We'll do some supportive side stretches. So bring your right hand down to your right thigh. Slide it down toward your right knee, creating a nice crescent shape with your body. For that side stretch in the left. Inhale, bring your left or right hand back up, meeting the left. Bring the left hand down to the left thigh. Bring your left hand down toward your left knee. Nice crescent shape. Inhale up with your left hand and then down with your right. Slide your right down toward your right knee. And inhale, come back up. Slow, deliberate movements. Left hand comes down, sliding your left hand down toward your left knee, and then come back up with your left hand. And both hands back down, forward fold, bending at the knees. Inhale, come up to half forward fold, nice flat back. And then send your crown of your head down toward the mat. And then sweep your hands from the mat all the way up overhead. Palms come together, then palms come to heart center. We're going to do a few leg lifts here. So we bring our, feel connected into the mat with your left foot first. Feel like you have a nice, maybe lift your toes and heel, just kind of rock to get connected. And then we're gonna lift our right knee up and lift it all the way up. So you're doing like a knee to chest pose, like what we do on our back. And then we're gonna walk our hands down to our ankle, bring our right hand, can't talk and do this at the same time, hold please. Walk our hands down and we're gonna flip our knee down to the mat. There we go, holding on to our foot. You can bring your left hand to your heart center, half of an Anjali Mudra. That will help center you. We'll just take a few moments here to feel stable in this pose. Find a drishti or a spot that you can focus on to help. And then bring your right leg down. We'll do that on the other side. So really connect your right foot to the mat, to the earth. Lift your left leg up. Bring your knee toward your chest. Nice hug here. Walking your hands down. And then with your left hand on your left foot, point your left knee down toward the earth. Bringing your right hand to center. And try to find some stability in this pose. I see a lot of one-legged people out there. That's good. Okay, bring your left foot down. We're going to sweep our hands all the way up overhead again. Big inhale. Big exhale, forward fold, bending at the knees. Inhale, hands come up to the shins. Half forward fold, nice flat back. Then exhale, sending the crown of your head down toward the mat. Then inhale, sweeping your hands up and overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Then palms come to the back of your hips. Fingertips pointing down. Feet are hip width apart. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked toward your chest. And just relax your shoulders and let them roll back, creating a nice supported back bend. And get to the spot where you can still breathe easily, nice inhales and exhales. And then inhale, come back up to mountain pose. How's everyone doing? We're gonna inhale, sweep our hands up, overhead, exhale, forward fold, bringing our hands down to the mat, placing both palms on the mat and sending our feet back and our hips up into downward dog. We'll pedal out here for a few moments. And with the downward dog, our fingertips are also spread wide apart, index finger pointing up to the top of the mat. Arms are straight, chest is reaching toward the thighs. Our drishti, our gaze is toward our navel. You can relax your legs by pedaling them or having a gentle bend in the knees if you're stationary. And then on the next inhale, we're going to bring our right knee to our right elbow or toward our chest, whichever is more comfortable for you. This is a good core strengthening pose. And then bring the right foot back, pedal out again. And inhale, bringing our right knee to our right elbow or center. And then back again. Pedal out. And then we're going to bring our right foot all the way up between our hands. So inhale, bring our right foot up, have it framed by our hands, coming into runner's lunge. And feel connected to this pose. Have your knee right over to the ankle. Back leg is nice and straight and strong. You should have a little bit of your right foot in one track and your left foot in another track, not so that they're one single line. Back foot, heels pushing to the back of the mat. And then we're going to come up just halfway to a high lunge, not all the way up. And so you could use your hands, come up to your knees, feel centered there. And then if you're comfortable, you can remove your hands from your knees, sending them back in airplane pose. Just feel the real strength of your right leg here. And then bring both hands back down to the mat. Bring your right foot back to meet your left foot, coming into plank pose. Navel's tucked to the spine, elevating your hips slightly. Shoulders are right over your elbow, or your wrists. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat. And then you can come down gently to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked toward your ribs. And we bring our hands along the side of us, palms facing up, chin resting on the mat. We'll lift our right leg up, keeping our hips parallel with the mat. Lift the right leg up. And then exhale, release it back down. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Release it back down. And then inhale, lifting both legs and both arms up. Full locust. And then both back down. Bring your fingertips so they're right below your shoulders. And then gently lift your head and your chin up. Lift your hands off the mat. Feel strength in your upper back. And then put your hands back down on the mat. Keeping your elbows tucked to your side, gently push down, coming up into cobra. And then you're going to keep pushing, coming up to tabletop, and then send your hips back down toward your ankles for child's pose. And inhale, come back up to tabletop, tuck your toes under, lift your hips back up to downward dog, and we'll do all that on the other side. So pedal out here for a few moments. Downward dog, hips are up to the sky, sending your gaze perhaps to your navel. That's the drishti for downward dog. And then inhale, bring your left knee to your left elbow, pushing off with your right toes, and then back again to meet your foot and pedal out some more. On the inhale, lift your left knee up, bring it to your elbow, and then back to downward dog, pedal out. And then inhale, bringing your left foot all the way up between your hands, runner's lunge. Your foot's being framed by your two hands. Your feet are in their separate tracks. Left knee is over the left ankle. Right heel is pushing to the back of the mat. And then we're going to come up, halfway up, bringing your hands to our knees. And if you want, you can keep them there, or you can release them, bringing your hands into an airplane. And send your gaze ahead. Feel that strength in that left leg. And then bring both hands back down to the mat. Send your left foot back to meet your right foot, coming into plank pose. Navel's tucked to the spine, elevating the hips. And then we're going to slowly lower down to the mat, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to the sides. Bring your hands beside you, palms up. Chin is resting on the mat, with the hips parallel to the mat. So first lift the right leg up, and then down. Inhale, lift the left leg up, and then exhale down. And then inhale both legs and both arms up. Continue breathing. And then bring them both back down. Bring our fingertips right below our shoulders, lifting our head and our chest up, and then our hands up for baby cobra. And then bring our hands back down to the mat, keeping our elbows tucked toward our ribs. Gently push up into cobra. Continue your breathing. And then push up into tabletop, and then lower your hips down to child's pose. Then inhale, come back up to tabletop. Tuck the toes under, come up into downward dog. Pedal out here for a moment. And then slowly walk your feet up to your hands, coming into a forward fold. Bending the knees gently, roll yourself all the way up, lifting your hands up overhead, palms come together, then palms come to heart center for mountain pose. We're going to lift our right leg up as we did earlier, bringing it to our chest, and then sending it all the way back to the back of the mat and letting it set down. We're going to come into warrior two. So find your comfortable warrior two. Left knee would be over your left ankle. You can see the tip of your big toe over your knee. Right foot's nice and snug in the mat. Chest is open to the long side of the mat. Navel's tucked to your spine. We'll send both arms up to shoulder height. And then slowly turn our head to look at our fingertips. The drishti on this pose. And then we're going to lower our right arm as we lift our left fingertips up to the sky, keeping our gaze on our left fingertips, coming into peaceful warrior. And then lowering our left arm so that our forearm rests on our left thigh, sweeping our right arm overhead and pointing the fingertips to the top of the mat. So we're going to create one big line of energy from our right toes all the way up to our right fingertips. Send your gaze out. Or maybe you could send it to the tip of your nose. And bring your right hand down to the mat, pivoting your back foot, going back into runner's lunge. We're going to come back into forward fold. So push down in your left foot, bringing your right foot to meet your left foot. Head's tucked down, crown of the head's tucked down toward the mat. Bending your knees, sweeping your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Now we're going to go into dancer pose. So remember, any part of this pose is doing the pose. So as we did earlier, you bring your right knee, we'll start with the right knee, up to our chest. Walk our hands down. Grab our right foot with our right hand. Bring our left hand to heart center. Half of the Anjali Mudra, and get comfortable in this pose. And maybe this is all you want to do. That's great. Otherwise, you can swing your right hand around to the inner part of your right foot. Send your left hand out in front of you and follow that hand with your eyes, tilting your torso toward that hand and pushing your right foot into your right hand, sending that leg up to the sky. And if you fall out, as I just did, you can try it again. Don't rush it, make nice, deliberate moves. Or we could try it on the other side. All right. So let's try it on the other side. So we're going to do that sequence again, lifting our left leg up toward our chest, and then sending it to the back of the mat, coming into warrior two. our right knees over our right ankle. Left foot is nice and snug in the mat. Chest is open to the long side of the mat. Navel's tucked to the spine. Lift our arms up to shoulder height. And then slowly turn our gaze to our right fingertips. Get nice and comfortable in your warrior two. And then following your right fingertips, send your right hand up as your left hand comes down toward your left thigh. And then bring your right forearm down to your right thigh. Sending your left arm sweeping overhead and up toward the front of the mat, creating a nice straight long line of energy from your left toes to your left fingertips. Then bring your left hand down to the mat, pivoting your back foot. Coming into runner's lunge, and then pushing down to your right foot, lift your left foot, bringing it up to meet your right foot and coming into forward fold. And then slowly with your knees bent, roll up, bringing your hands up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll try dancer pose on the other side. So really anchor your right foot into the mat. Lift your left leg up. Hug your knee to your chest. Walk your hands down to your left ankle. And then bring your left knee down. So it's pointing down toward the mat. Right hand is at heart center. Hatha Anjali Mudra. And just get comfortable here in this pose. And then swing your left fingertips around to the inner part of your left foot. We're going to send our right hand out in front of us, keeping our gaze on our right fingertips or our right thumb even. And then pushing our left foot into our left hand. We're going to tilt our body toward the front of the mat. And then come out of it at your convenience. Well done, everyone. And we'll bring our pinky toes to the edge of the mat, tucking our heels in toward our center at 45 degrees. Bringing our hands to heart center. We're going to lower our hips toward the mat, bending our knees deeply. Bringing our torso between our legs for a wide-legged squat. Elbows are between the knees. And if you want a little bit more stretch, you can send your hands down toward the mat, opening your knees a little further. And then we're going to bring our feet down onto the mat and roll down slowly, or express method, whichever way you want. Roll down to the mat, bringing our knees to our chest, giving them a nice hug. They did good today. And then we're going to do some rowboats. So we're going to put our hands on our knees. We grab our knees, wrapping our fingers around our knees, extending our arms toward the bottom of the mat. Extend them out fully. And then sending our knees to each side, opening our knees, bringing the soles of our feet together. And we're going to guide our knees back toward our shoulders. And then bring our knees back over our chest. So extend them out. Exhale, inhale, opening your knees, bringing the soles of your feet together. Might be inhale here. Inhale, bringing your knees together or toward your shoulders. And then exhale, bringing your knees together. Inhale, push out. Exhale, open your knees, soles of your feet together. Inhale, knees toward your shoulders. Exhale, closing the knees over your chest. And just continue at your own pace. Just be sure that you're breathing. And then when you're ready, bring your knees together over your chest. We're going to send our arms out at shoulder height to each side. Exhale, drop your knees to the right side. Recline, twist, and send your gaze over to your left fingertips. And slowly roll your head back to center. Inhale, roll your knees back to center. Exhale, lower your knees to the left. And gently roll your head over to the right to look at your right fingertips. Roll your head gently back to center. Inhale, lift your knees back to center. And extend your legs down to the end of the mat. Prepare for Shavasana. Bringing your heels to the corners of the mat, letting your feet flop open. Arms are at a diagonal with the palms facing up. Shoulders are relaxed. Big inhale. And exhale, releasing your body into the earth. Just relaxing all the muscles, all the joints. Today I'm going to read to you something quite personal to me. 3 years ago today, I graduated from yoga teacher training. And for our graduation, we had to create a vision statement. So I've never shared this with anyone except my husband and my fellow classmates at yoga teacher training, but I wanted to share it with you today on the 3rd anniversary. It's called Vision Statement. I discovered yoga at age 60. It started slowly with taking asana classes, which provided an outlet for my physical energy. I left classes feeling energized, calmer, sometimes peaceful, sometimes not, having deep emotions rise to the surface. But I was always happier for having gone. Then I discovered the life-changing benefit of pranayama. Having trouble sleeping since adolescence, I discovered a discipline of breathing that assisted me in getting a good night's sleep in the most peaceful manner. Then came the teachings of the yamas and niyamas. I have always been a spiritual person, but was a misfit in organized religion. The moral teachings of the yamas and niyamas spoke to me in a way that religion never did. And lastly, meditation. I'm still discovering how meditation fits into my life and how to harvest its benefits. It probably has given me gifts that I'm not even aware of yet. It's just waiting patiently for me to connect the dots. Exploring the limbs of yoga has created an adventure for me that I will never tire of. I will use the asanas to honor my body, pranayama to honor that life force within me, yamas and niyamas to see and live life through their filter, and meditation to be mindfully present in my life. Like any good thing you discover in life, whether it's tangible or not, you want to share it with your personal community and even with the world at large. I'm so grateful for the yogis who have come before and shared their gifts and started the chain effect of sharing for generations to come. The pathway is lit, and I am blessed to have been given a candle to help light the path for those to follow. From my first job of working summers in an ice cream shop, I developed my personal mission statement of serving people so that they leave happier than when they came in. This statement has informed me throughout my life when choosing professional opportunities, and it was especially true when I had my own business. I personally know that yoga can leave a person happier than when they came in, and I see the effect on people when I plant one of my yoga seeds on them. It makes them happier too. This is all I can hope for in life, to spread the seeds of yoga, whether it's teaching yoga classes or just living my life in accordance with the limbs of yoga. Then I and the people around me will be happier.